Yo. Yo, what's up?
Hey, you just have to like broadcast it right now.
Well, Natalie knows free right now,
Okay.
so she had to let me into the YouTube account. Still,
Okay.
for some reason, don't ask me why. If I could pause it, I would, but I don't know if I can. Let me see. How's the noise level on my end? You're muted.
Terrible. What is that?
I accidentally started a TikTok.
Good job.
Okay. How about now?
Much better.
Oh, Lord.
We're gonna get the YouTube thing fixed.
Beg your pardon?
When do you think YouTube's gonna get fixed?
Wish I knew. I have tried to fix it like 3 times. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna make you co-host.
I feel so honored. All right, I'm gonna take a quick restroom break and I'll be right back.
Christa, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
In just a moment, please.
Okay. No problem.
Hey, Krista, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Having a little rain here today. Like it seems to be the norm here in July now. Like
It's a
every
nice, hot, humid day in South Texas, I'll tell you that.
yeah, I bet it is. I bet it is. It's I lived in El Paso for 3 years, so I know it's hot, windy. At least that's what I remember about it being hot and windy, and occasionally getting dust in my eyes. So we're going to start the interview right at 6 because that's when people are going to start tuning in. And did he give you a list of questions?
You said you were going to do that.
What? No, I didn't.
I emailed them to you.
Well, yeah, but I thought, oh gosh, that's right. I said I was going to post them.
The last thing you said in the chat was that you were going to send them.
I apologize. I'm a terrible human being. Can you post them in chat?
There aren't any huge surprises here, but sure.
What? What are you trying to say?
I said we're not going to spring any gotcha questions.
Yeah, no.
Okay. There you are.
Here I am.
So, Christa, did you get my message earlier?
Which one?
The
Sorry.
one about Juan, the document that Juan made of like all the
Oh yeah,
still.
that was funny. I laughed.
I'm still laughing about it. 10 this morning.
That was really funny. When you sent that to me, I was just like, huh? I was like, so appropriate for so many people.
He's a living legend, man.
He is a living legend. Your dad's one of a kind for sure.
He sure is. Let me tell you.
Figure out if I can go TikTok and point my phone at the screen.
That'd be super entertaining.
Well, at least people don't pay attention enough to YouTube might be able to catch it.
Sure.
I don't know, probably a dozen people watched yesterday, so.
Is the fundraiser going well?
Oh yeah, what's today look like?
It's pretty good. I really haven't looked at it today. We're getting busy, getting ready to head up to South Dakota. So for Sunday, yeah, so we're
When you leave tomorrow, right?
tomorrow. Yes.
Will you still have time to send me updates, or does someone else have access? How do you want to do that?
Oh no, I'll be able to send them.
Okay, cool. I think as long as we get one a day, everyone will be happy.
Right. No problem.
Everybody's rooting for y'all, so I mean, a lot of people have really come out of the woodworks to help. I was really surprised with some of the support we got, especially with your one video, Nick.
Dude, I know. Got like 16,000 shares or something like that.
Yeah.
That's like,
yeah, it had a ton of likes.
yeah, it was like a 1-to-2 ratio of like likes to comments, I get, or likes to views. I mean, like
That's pretty good.
yeah, that's a very good ratio. People try to shoot for like 1 to 3.
Yeah, 1 to 3. Yeah, 1 to 3 is very desirable. But 2 to 1 is like, ooh, hey, who's a superstar now? I'm just kidding.
Well, do you want to? Oh, Christa, do you want to look this stuff up and like announce it live at the beginning of the interview?
Yeah, let me look it up real quick. Give me a sec.
Sure. Just call them out and I'll write them down for you.
I've been jabbering away with my mic muted. I was like, man, that should just not be interesting.
We got 202 since last time we talked yesterday from the Cash App.
PayPal?
No, Cash App.
No, okay, 202 is the Cash App.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Which puts us about 1,800 away, or still over 2,000.
I think I need to update my chart to include these other ranges. Distance to goal is with that is 2250.
Okay.
Or how about I just give you so far from day one the total, because that's how it's got it.
Yeah, I mean, I can revise this. I've just been writing it down the other way. So if I mean, I guess if we do that, I'm like, I kind of need to get the totals for like yesterday and the day before. I can do it that way if you want.
Oh, okay, hold on.
It's kind of got like it's kind of got to all be a one way or the other.
Yeah. 80. 295. 3. 5. So yesterday we got about, it looks like 385 from the PayPal. And just so you know, Jacob Reynolds sent us $200. So shout out to him.
Nice.
That's sweet. Yeah, it seems to me once you get closer to your goal, like people see that you're getting closer and they want to donate bigger chunks.
Okay. Get off me.
So, Krista, I have a secret to tell
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Before I
What's
was
up?
adopted, was adopted, my name wasn't always Katrina. In fact, my name used to be Krista. So
See?
mine was spelled with a
Name.
K, but still, yeah. I'm just like, oh, her name's Krista. You just don't hear Krista too often.
Nope. It's very unique.
All right, guys, it's 6 p.m. I'm going to start recording, okay? Oh, Krista, did you have the PayPal? I mean, not the PayPal, the GoFundMe.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
That one I didn't look at.
If you can tell me what the last like transaction you looked at from yesterday was, I can keep track of it for you, but it's whatever you want to do.
Oh, I haven't even seen the GoFundMe.
We can look at it later.
I don't really keep up with that one. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start recording then.
You can go just look at it on the link and it'll tell you how much it's been raised.
I just don't know where we measured from yesterday, what time of day it was, and what the last transaction we measured from was.
Well, I'm just measuring from 2000 because that's what originally was in it.
Yeah, it was like 2,200, I think.
No, it was 2000 even.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start recording.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Roundtable Alliance interview with Krista here, the first female chief, 7 generations of the Carrizo tribe of Esto'k Gna, which is the original name of Texas. Welcome, Krista. How are you doing today?
Doing good. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So would you like to briefly
Been
introduce? Oh, yeah, go ahead. I was about to say.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Ite apole, mautapele, met nawazo, met polpet. My name is Christa Mencius. I am Juan's daughter. I'll say that.
That's its own
My
mantle, right? That's its own mantle, right?
right. Right. Well, I mean, it's happened my whole life. Ever since I was a kid, everybody would tell me, "Oh, are you Juan's daughter?" And I'd be like, "Yes, that's my dad."
Yep.
So I'm used to it. But yeah. So right now, I am the current administrative director for our 501c3. It's a nonprofit organization that the tribe runs. Because unfortunately, we are not a federally recognized tribe. We are an unrecognized tribe, and so we have to base our profits off of a 501 and the work that we hold dear. And so yeah. Me myself, I am a mother of I have 3 boys and 1 stepdaughter that I raised since she was 10. She is now 26 years old, 25 years old. Oh, don't make her older than she is. But and my partner and I've been together for 14 years. And so yeah, I mean, we currently reside on the land that, is up for foreclosure that my dad has been talking about. We moved down here about almost 14 years ago. In August, it'll be 14 years to start what my dad envisioned was going to happen on this land, and to begin to bring back and wake the people of South Texas, and bring back our people back together. And slowly and surely, within those 14 years, we have grown to just being within our family members, but then extending out and reaching out and being with and getting to bring back new tribal members that have been lost to the colonization of the time here in South Texas. And so it's been the awakening to be truly woke, to see this happening. And this land that we're trying to save and protect has been the basis and the home front for everyone. We do a lot of our Lifeway ceremonies here. We have our bear dances and our harvest dance and our woman's dance. We've had our victory dances here. It's the gathering place for our people, and it's just a small section of 30 acres, and we want to save it and protect it just like anything else, for the fact that it's been the basis of who we are and our identity, where we could be in a place to bring our people together. And unfortunately, if we do lose this, it's not just our homes, it's our people that are going to be losing out as well. And it's just been a long struggle with everything going on.
So how did it come to this? Where, like, tell us, like, from the beginning. And by the way, people were wanting to know, is this by Star in Hidalgo County, which is by the border, right? Where this is? Okay, so
No.
where is
this land is the base in Floresville. It's our home base front in Floresville, where the 501c3 is stationed at.
Okay.
Though the one in Stark County, that is still, like, when we talk about land issues, we're talking about what land issues? There are so many in our state that are happening to our people that we need to protect. And we can say there our sacred sites in the Permian Basin all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico are need to be saved. And we can't say we just one issue, but this right now is the main issue. This is our home front. This is where we base everybody out of, and this is what we're trying to protect. Unfortunately, the 28 laws that have been waived in for the border wall issues, that's still an issue, and it's still being waived. So unfortunately, right now, if we lose this place, it's just like them, even though it's not at the border, it's still them taking it away from us to be able to practice who we are and have our ceremonies and be in our life ways. So it's the same thing. It's the same issues. They've been attacking my dad for years because of who he is and how he stands up for his people. And it's hard for him to swallow. It's hard for him to see. It's hard for me to see him go through some of these things, because we're here. We do our best to help out in any way we can. And he does the same to help us. And he's just a big-hearted man that's just trying to help everybody, and doesn't like to ask for help for himself as well.
I think many people that have hearts and actually care about their people, I think they find themselves a lot in that position. So sometimes worse than others, for sure. So that clarifies a lot. So you have a border issue, and then you had the Floresville. So, and that's the one right now that we're trying to help fundraise for. And it's so the money is like the back tax issue is like that's the part, the original, the amount that we were talking about, it's taxes.
The taxes. Mm-hmm.
So getting that taxes taken care of, and then getting caught up on payments, or okay, that makes a lot. So, sorry, I was pulling up the questions because I don't have them written down right now. So you're going to be the first female chief in 7 generations. What challenges do you think you're going to face going into these modern times?
So for me, it's not anything different. Just because I am a woman doesn't make me any different than a man. We are a matriarchal society, and basically we do everything together, and it's not just just because of your gender. It's an even role of who we are as a people. Just like we can't have life, give life without each other. So we walk hand in hand with each other. We walk side by side. And so for me, just because I'm a woman in a basically male dominant position, it doesn't faze me any, because I wasn't raised that way. And my people are not are raised the same with the same ideal, that it's not any different from a man or a woman.
That's amazing. I wish more people were raised that way. It'd make life a lot easier for all the world. So what is one goal that you hope to accomplish during your time as chief?
So as I mean, for me, my goal is a goal for the people, is to continue to do what we have been doing, preserving and maintaining the identity of our people, our language, to continue to bring back our relatives, and continue what my dad and my grandfather and my great grandfathers and grandmothers have done before me. And I want to continue that. And I want that to exceed in our teachings of who we are, because without them, I wouldn't be here. And without their knowledge, I wouldn't know what I know now. And I just make sure that identity maintains and will continue.
I definitely understand that. What is one thing that you've accomplished so far that you're proud of?
So back last year in May, we did a tribunal on Garcia pasture, which I helped a lot with the research and setting up the tribunal. I did speak a little bit during the tribunal as well. It was a very great accomplishment, knowing that because of that, we've been able to stop a one LNG proposed to be in the Gulf of Mexico near Garcia pasture. So, we were successful for them to be pulling out their funding and contracts out of there. So that was one accomplishment that was so that we did together with the community there in South Texas, with all tribal members and several NGOs and grassroots organizations who helped out during the tribunal. And that's what it showed, that we work well with other organizations and other people of different races to and if we work as a community together within our state, we can make things happen. And it was one of the great accomplishments that we did last year. We were very successful in that tribunal, and it's being taught nationwide about how in colleges and law schools about Native issues.
That's incredible. So you set a precedent, basically. You set the bar for how it's going to be done for future generations. That's a big deal. So you said that you have a son, right?
I'm sorry?
I said you have a son, right?
A son?
Your child?
Oh, yeah. I have 3 boys.
Oh, wow. So many children.
I have 3 boys. I have an 18-year-old, a 13-year-old, and the 5-year-old you saw over there with my dad yesterday.
Oh,
He's silly.
He's a gem. I like him. He's funny. I feel like he's probably a mini Juan. A little bit.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
I kind of got that.
Pretty much.
I see that being like young Juan. So what's one value or life way that your sons grasp as they walk their path through life from your people?
Not being afraid of who they are. I've instilled that in them since they were younger, to make sure that they were not, when they go to school and someone told them, the teacher teaches them their education about Texas history, that they say that Indians don't exist, but to stand up and say something, because they do exist. They're looking at them, they're breathing, they're hearing them, and they're seeing them defend themselves. For me, it was hard for me growing up look, there's my dad.
Hey, Juan. Special guest appearance.
It was always hard for me growing up in the town. There's my little one, in Lubbock, Texas, because, the people who looked like me had the same skin color, same hair color. They told me that, no, the teacher says that Indians didn't exist. They're extinct. And I'm like, no. Well, then you're not from here. No, I'm from Texas. I was born and raised here. No, you can't be Indian. I was like, so my thing was like, just wait till you see my dad.
I'm gonna get
my dad would come to the classroom, and then I'd be like, I told you I'm not Mexican. I'm Indian. I'm native. I know who I am.
And that's got to be something very empowering, for yourself to know who you are and to have your life ways and to have grown up in it. And it's sad to see that.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just want to make that my kids understand that it's okay for someone to tell you that but you have to stand up for yourself and tell them that you do exist, because you're living and breathing right now. And who you are, who your people are, is who you are. And that they have that understanding that they will who they are is more important of knowing their identity than not knowing their identity.
Right. Completely agree with that. So, speaking of Juan, here's a question about him. So, what's your favorite life way that you learned from your father and its background? Is he watching this?
Yeah, he's right there. He's honestly, my favorite teaching that he taught me was that, and I'll say this because he's sitting right here looking at me, was that he always told me that he would shoot me in the foot if I ever did anything wrong. And that he loved me that much that he would go to jail for me. So I would understand about how much he loved me.
I see.
I was like, it wasn't being shot in the foot or being hurt. It was the fact that I didn't want my dad to go to jail for me, to show me how much he loved me, because he didn't need to do that.
Right. You know your father's love for sure. No.
Definitely.
I'm sitting behind that computer.
But that was something that he he would tell us. But he was him and my mom were very positive, and when we were children, and always and he didn't even own a gun either. He would just tell us that. But he would write, like, one day we came home. I think we were both, me and my brother, were just feeling kind of down on ourselves, And one day we came home from school, and on my bedroom ceiling, when I went to go lay down, it says, "I am the greatest." And then when I would look in the mirror every morning, it would say, "I am the greatest." And he had that on our ceilings and our mirrors. That way we could tell ourselves every day to make sure that we knew that positive thinking, that we were great at everything that we do. Doesn't matter. I'm a human being. I'm great. I am breathing. I am great. I am great because I'm alive. Those kind of things, those positive thinkings.
That's amazing. It's a powerful thought process to have. So I'm going to ask you one time to say everything okay over there? Is the house about to take off? Or beeping?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No. It's my computer.
Oh, okay. How do you say your people's name again?
Esto'k Gna.
Esto'k Gna. Okay.
Esto'k Gna.
Esto'k Gna. I'm very, I also have a
Yes.
cold, so I'm like, I might sound a little muddled, but I'm there. So, what is the one food that says Esto'k Gna more than any other to you?
Food?
Mm-hmm. Traditional food. We like food here. Huh? He's like, food? Oh, okay.
Fish? Raw fish, raw liver. The good food.
Ooh. I love liver.
Yeah.
I fit in really good there. So, and what is your favorite quick snack that y'all have, that you like to have just laying around, that y'all harvest or produce?
Quick snack?
Yeah, that's traditional for you.
Oh, the berries. Yeah, well, there's like these they're choke cherry berries that run, they have bushes that grow around here. We love those. We can make all kinds of stuff with that, but those are so good. But our tamales, like the way we make tamales here, are so like with the food the stuffing, they're just amazing.
Well, I'm definitely going to visit now. So, now I'm getting hungry and I've already ate. So what is your I'm laughing so hard now. So what is your favorite dance of your people?
I like them all, actually. I don't really have a specific favorite one because every dance brings our people together, and it's those times in those dances where we get to it was hard. Let me put it this way. It was hard last year during the pandemic to even continue to have our Lifeway dances, and we still did, but we did them according to COVID
The guide.
rules and guidelines. And it was, and not very many people came because they were, people are still worried about getting COVID. And we were really safe with a lot of it. Made sure and very strict on how we did things. But the first dance, like this harvest dance, was just it was great. Like, it was exciting. There was everybody was there. It was like we could talk to each other without being afraid of each other, without trying to be hurt from each other or thinking that we might give somebody COVID. And so I mean, it's every dance because we're together.
Yeah, I like that. It's not necessarily about the dance. It's more about spending time with the people for you. I appreciate that. What is your favorite Esto'k Gna story, and why? story from your people.
Oh, I'm not a good storyteller. I'm not the good storyteller. I'll mention to you, and then maybe my dad will tell you one day. But my favorite one is the story of the blue deer lady, the way she came to our people and gave us our dances. That's my, she gave us our harvest dance. That's my favorite story. And she taught them how to weave the web of life in their dance. So that to me is my favorite story.
I've never heard that. I mean, I've heard, of other tribes stories of the wise woman coming and teaching them everything, but I've never heard of the blue deer woman. That's definitely a new one. We're gonna have to rope one in someday for that one. So what is your favorite?
She ties us into the blue deer lady ties us into our ancient relatives that have been found here in that's probably like an hour and a half from where we currently are. They found some ancient remains from like 800 AD. Yeah, about 45 minutes from here. And Three Rivers is the town. And it's the Loma Sandia? No, Loma Sandia? That's where Valero has the refinery. Yeah, and it's right down the street from where Valero has their refinery, where they found these remains.
Wow.
So it's really disgusting that plant is near this huge, massive burial site, and it's a sacred burial site. And it's vile. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, that's pretty vile. Just so incredibly disrespectful. So, what is your favorite animal, and why? Is there a teaching behind it from your people?
I don't know. I love bear, and because the bear is a special healing animal, brings the people together. Our bear mother, she is is amazing, and I love her, and that for me it's the bear. That's my special animal.
Bear is a good one. And Nick wanted me to ask you about ocelots. This is a personal question about ocelots and why they're meaningful.
Ocelots?
Yes, and why they're meaningful.
Ocelots?
Yes. Is Juan going to step in now?
Yeah. She wanted to know the meaning of ocelots and why are they special.
They're the ones that observe and live in the trees.
He says because they're the ones that observe and live in the trees. He doesn't want to get him on camera.
Why don't we get on camera from? You got a lollipop.
He's got a lollipop, he said. Come on.
Come on, Juan.
I'll let him get in here real quick.
Hello.
Hey.
My lollipop. I did. I had my lollipop. How are you? No, the ocelot. Yeah, good. The ocelot is important to us because it's a one of those animals that test what is happening with cultures. And like the jaguar is gone now. Almost, well, it's not gone, but it's, at least it's extirpated from this area, from the Rio Grande, and in this area, like the red wolf is extirpated. But the ocelot has been able to maintain, and so it's like a symbol of who we are. maintaining and being the people that have preserved and continue to be who we are. Plus, you also find ipapu in the spotted wildcat in our language. So in the way you say it is ipapu, and so I'll give you back to Krista, and I'll go take my camera lollipop.
All right. Ah.
You-
You please
You're
stop.
smoking. I got a lollipop.
I'm not smoking. Nick's smoking. We're gonna call you out there.
He's
If no one had said anything about it, no one on YouTube would have known.
oh, so funny.
Juan for the special guest appearance and story. That's very interesting. That's very meaningful to have that as basically a representation of your people, of how well you're preserved. And it has been true that Ocelot has survived incredibly despite all the deforestation and modernization of the world and just blatant destruction of the environment, but yet it's still there. But Nick,
And-
did you take
And
off part of-
still, the ocelot is still being threatened by the border wall and the Texas
Right.
governor trying to reinstate the border rebuilding the border, to continue building a border wall on a border that is non-existent.
right?
And that the wall is not even anywhere near the river. It is in some places about 4 miles off the river.
So Nick, you there? What you doing, Nick?
I am here. I'm quietly listening as I promised. I do have a question though.
Well, yeah, I was gonna let you take over and let you do some questions real quick.
Sure.
So,
Um,
because I know you're dying. You're just over there like I whatever.
I
You're
I
like,
am.
please let me in. I want to ask questions. See? No. The little hand thing. It's this.
So what I was wondering is, I know on the flag, you guys use carrizo-comecrudo. And I was wondering, I didn't know for a long time that y'all's real name was Esto'k Gna. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Mhm.
And I was just wondering, do you know the story behind how you got, how y'all got the colonizer name? Because I'm just picturing y'all being like, we're the same people. Stop calling us these two different things. It's Esto'k Gna. And they're like, carrizos? And you're like, okay, fine, just forget it. Like, I know this is, and I don't mean to make light, but I just have to picture this moment happening at some point.
So, carrizo is what they called us because, what some Spaniards called us because of our homes were built out of the reeds, and then husache, and then comecrudo is because we the way we ate, or they thought we ate raw, or we eat, like menudo, tripe, and stuff like that. So for them, it was how they perceived us, how we or way we looked, or how we ate, or and it was a mixture of the people in the area in South Texas, because you got to remember the name Esto'k Gna means human beings. And we don't have, that's what our name means, of our people, is just human beings. But in the rest of the state, that's how they know us, is carrizo-comecrudos. And then later on, my elders just decided to keep it that way, in honor of our relatives who left South Texas in the 1940s. and moved up to the panhandle of Texas to preserve and protect the identity from colonization in South Texas, trying to be Mexicanized or Christianized. Unfortunately, some of us were anglicized moving into South Texas, but I mean, to the panhandle. But other than that, but we still preserved and maintained the identity of the people of the Esto'k Gna. And so my elders decided that they would just go ahead and keep the carrizo-comecrudo name to honor those relatives that left South Texas. And but our name and our language, how we call ourselves, is Esto'k Gna. And that's how our relatives understand us, our ancestors, when we speak to them.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Do you mind if I keep going? Because I'll ask you questions all day.
Go ahead.
I have many. So one thing I heard your dad say, and when I heard him say it, I immediately rushed to open my notes app and write it down and time and date it, because he's a very quotable fella. But he said, in our language, there's no word for prayer. Instead, we say tetehala, I remember. And I just thought that was not only very beautiful and poetic, but also I felt like that gave a really deep insight into who the Esto'k Gna are as a people and how ancient you truly are. If there was no, and how inseparable the spirituality and I'm imagining this is why y'all like to say life ways instead of culture, teachings, traditions, anything like that. Because it seems like, why would you not need a word for prayer if everything was a prayer? It seems like that seems to be the answer. And I was just wondering if you let me know.
Go ahead. Ask your question.
No.
What's your question?
So the
go ask your question. And
I just wanted to hear you speak on. I mean, what does that say to you that your language has no word for prayer? Because I think that's really incredible, and I think it's our language is such a fundamental part of who we become, because it teaches us how the universe fits together in all its pieces. Our grammar influences the way that we think about the world around us, and there are native languages with no, everything is future tense, or they're all verbs and no nouns and things like this. So I'm just wondering, are there any other unique features of the language that you'd like people to know about that you find particularly interesting?
So for me, when I think of the word prayer, and I say prayer, it comes from the colonized language of, being that identity of Christianity, in all ways, shapes, or forms of Christianity. That's where prayer comes from. And our language is not from any of that. It's from it's the original language of this land. So untouched by that doctrine of discovery, that Christianity mentality, that colonized thinking of having prayer. So when you say tatahala, right. And then for me, the way I feel about it is because my life is I remember just every day I wake up, just to breathe. It's a life way. You have to live these ways. You have to live it day by day. You have to live it in everything you eat, the way what you drink, how you take care of yourself, your family, and those around you. And you start with yourself, because if you cannot take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of anybody else? And so when you wake up in the morning, that's a life way. That's it. And you remember the ancestors as you're doing that. Because if for them, they're you.
I'm sorry, I'm writing down timestamps for good quotes from you. I have quite a few.
And we didn't forget our ancestors. Our ancestors have been with us. We didn't leave them to cross an ocean or waters, a big water to come. Our ancestors were already here and are still here.
That's
And we are the end.
right. That did you say we are the ancestors? Did I hear you correctly?
That what?
Did I hear you correctly say we are the ancestors?
We are the ancestors, so that's why we remember them.
That's a beautiful thought. It also makes me think of something else I've been wanting to ask. I spent the past couple of days in my spare time. I also heard your dad say the paintings on the rocks, that's our holy book. And we white folks know them as petroglyphs, or what we think of as cave paintings or rock paintings. And the Esto'k Gna, as I understand it, are responsible for most of these in Texas. So I'm hoping that someday I can get your dad to draw me a map of sacred sites, because I think people should know where those are, and know where they're in danger. But I guess my question is, what do those paintings on the rocks mean to you personally?
They're the stories of our ancestors. They're marks. They're marks left on those rocks to tell us. Some of them are prophecies that tell us the coming of the white man.
There are epistles and there are gospels.
He says there are what?
Epistles and our gospels.
Our epistles and our gospels is what he said. But for me, that's what it is. It's our teachings of the stories that were left behind. They're prophecies of on some, on others, they are teachings of the dances that were done in the area, in a gathering place, like in Paint Rock. It shows that they came at different times of the year to celebrate the equinox and the solstice, and like the summer solstice and the winter equinox. How can you not be at that place at that time? I mean, it's a place where you can go back and step back into time and history, what's untouched, and see it. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful place to be. So why wouldn't I want to be there? I've been fortunate enough, just like my brother, to see the ones that are at Lake Allen Henry. And you actually have to be able to talk to the people, to the parks people, to let you take you on the tour to see them. Unfortunately, it's not offered to anybody. I was fortunate enough to be able to see those, and see the one that's underwater. I mean, it's sad that a man-made lake is covering this, these beautiful pictures of history, but it's also feeds fresh water to the area, and in a place where there is no running water or rivers. So you sometimes you have ups and downs, and then of course the prophecies on the walls that talk about what's happening now in the Permian Basin, which is all the fracking flares and the monsters that are tearing up the land and repeatedly raping and murdering Mother Earth, and nobody understands that reference, but us Native people that have these things going on their homelands, and that because we hold her sacred, and it's hard to let these colonized people to understand those. and it's written on those walls that they can't, that what they were going to do. And we've been screaming at the top of the lungs for people to hear us. My dad has been doing it for years, but nobody wants to listen. And I'm hoping now everybody will start listening to us.
That is my sincerest hope. I really do. Because, you know, that's what, not just what y'all need, but that's what y'all deserve. And I realize I'm a little biased, but, you know, so I have a serious question for you. So I'll just put out a trigger warning for people on YouTube or whatever who are watching this. This is about MMIW. Because you are a tribe of West Texas, and West Texas is oil country. I feel like this is probably relevant because one thing that is a tremendous contributor to the MMIW crisis that most people do not understand is man camps in oil country. And the way that these like transient oil field workers will come into an area, occupy one of your temporary housing, you know, whatever's man camps, and how as these man camps are set up, you know, temporarily to work on this or that pipeline project or this or that fracking project, those men seek out trafficked women, and then they move on before they can be caught or prosecuted. And I want people to understand how this works just while we're on the topic, because this is, you know, this is relevant to the audience and it's relevant to the geography. So do you have, you know, I always try and remember MMIW 2SG. Do you have anything that you'd like to say to the people watching about this topic in general? I know it's a broad question, but.
So here in the state of Texas, it's even harder. Missing, murdered Indigenous women, men, and Two-Spirit people, they go missing all the time. And it's not just because of oil and gas. Oil and gas is a big part of it, but we have that the human trafficking going on because of being so close to Mexico, and all superhighways come through the state of Texas, and it happens. It's just the area we live in. It's the flow, and we do have tons of it happening on the border. People being murdered, people being disappearing from detention centers, and not knowing where they are at, if they're alive or dead, or if they've been kidnapped and taken to be human trafficked all over the country or all over the world. Who knows? Nobody actually knows what's happening at the border, let alone what is happening where they're protected by their group of people in a man camp in the Permian Basin, and where all the oil fracking is happening. So it's like a double whammy here in the state, because you get it at the time. You know, we got to talk about Claudia Gomez Gonzalez. We say her name, Claudia Gomez Gonzalez. We talk about her all the time. She was killed at the border by an ICE agent, just trying to seek asylum to come over to the United States, to go to school, to have an education. You know, that should have never happened. That should have never happened. She was unarmed, innocent person, and nobody's talking about her. Nobody's talking about her, but we mention her name all the time. We talk about her all the time, wherever we go. We talk about murdered, missing Indigenous women. We talk about our tribal members, people that have gone, have lost to abuse, you know, to died. That's happened in our society, and we continue to make that known. I advocate for MMIW here in Texas. I work with one of the groups out of Dallas, and the ladies there are amazing. They're always on top of it. You know, we always get the word out and help them, trying to find these people that they know have gone missing within our state. And but again, it is hard where we are at at this traffic area from not just oil and gas, but here at the border. So it's hard.
We should also research all the pedophilia that goes on with CBTs.
Thank you, Krista. That was a hell of an answer. There was something I was going to ask you and then it just slipped my mind.
Do we want to touch on the fundraiser at all?
Yeah, absolutely, of course.
See if it's how's it going and how far you need to go?
So we have not yet added up the GoFundMe into today's numbers, but just from the other two, we made $587 today, bringing us to a total of $4,137 raised and $1,863 to go in the next 3 days, which at our current rate means we need to raise $621 per day to meet the goal. So far, we have averaged higher than that every day, so things are looking up.
That's so awesome. I'm so happy.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody who's contributed, everybody who's been up there, supporting. I know we are all still struggling through hard times. We're still living in COVID. It is hard, but it's we'll get there. And, I'm just glad that we're getting a lot of support. It doesn't have to be by monetary donation, but just getting the word out and letting people know that we do exist and that there is a people here fighting to maintain an identity that has, that Texas completely wants to lose to the history books, and that we're trying to fight it on all fronts, whether it's within the state or in the federal level. So, we just want that to be known.
So I was actually thinking, while we've got people's attention in this moment, do you think that maybe it's time for a letter writing campaign or something along those lines? Because I think that's something that we could probably help to organize if that was something y'all were interested in. I would think, I suppose if there was one politician whose ear you could grab, who would it be? And let us go stalk them.
All of them. All of them.
Are we gonna pull a psychology and like gang stalk them?
It takes.
I can turn myself into a bush. I got it. I got you.
You have any suggestions, Dad?
I think that there's one of them is to look at the Department of Interior. What's her name?
Deborah Holland.
And the other
Oh. I actually wrote Ms. Holland's office and they wrote me back.
And then
also to look at the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs.
And the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs. That's who he said.
Senate Committee on Indian Affairs and Deb Holland. Got it.
Who is that? The Senate committee?
I'm sure we can Google.
But Juan is so knowledgeable.
Yeah, it is easier just to ask sometimes.
He's telling me to tell you guys that it's because the tribes here in the state really don't have any ties. The recognized tribes in the state do not have any ties to the state. They're not originally from here. And then us who are originally from here do. And if they're gonna truly do their due diligence, they need to come and talk to us, and not those people, not those tribes. Not that's not it. No, what?
It's just the fact that their hands are tied as well.
Their hands are tied because of their sovereignty of being federally recognized.
Well, because of their trust land.
Their trust land.
It's the only thing that
And we can do it.
For us, knowing where all these things are, we have to be aware of their
I can
presence.
barely hear him. I can barely hear you.
Oh, they have to be aware of their presence, of
They have to be aware.
That they have no connection to the sacred sites.
They have no connection to our sacred sites.
Because they don't know the history.
They don't know the history of the land.
Stories of it.
And the stories, is what he said.
So that's why we need to talk to the U.S. The Senate Committee on Indian Affairs, because neither John Cornyn nor Ted Cruz sit on those.
And he says that the reason why we need to talk to the,
Okay.
here, you tell them, because he's like using me.
Come on, where's your lollipop?
Quit stealing the microphone, Juan.
Where's your lollipop?
I'm sorry.
Ah,
Well, I can't chew it yet.
Harley.
Hey, Harley, how are you, babe?
Hi.
How's it going? Hey, listen, guys. The reason you need to know the history of what has happened in Texas, because John Cornyn, when he was Attorney General, he mandated that the Alabama Cuchara shut down their gaming and shut down the Tiguas gaming. Now, the Kickapoos never were state recognized, so that makes a big difference on the compact that was set up, or the taxes that they have to pay on their gaming. They were set up through their relatives in Oklahoma, so they never got state recognized. And then when they opened the casino, all of a sudden the state of Texas filed a lawsuit against, and they really had nothing to stand on. So that's one of the reasons that is happening, that all these people that are saying that they're state recognized are in question a lot of times, because the only two tribes that have state recognition are the ones that are federally recognized, and that's the Alabama Cuchara and the Tiguas. Now the Kickapoos are still not recognized because there's not like I said the other night, they shut down the Commission on Indian Affairs here in Texas in 1969. And if you go back and read the history of all the three tribes, especially the Alabama Cuchara, because they've been around since the Mexican the war against the Republic of Texas's war against Mexico to be a separate state. But then they became a separate nation, and they were actually fighting for the right to be a separate state of Mexico. But what happened was they ended up being, setting themselves up as a republic, and that's why a lot of this is in question, and how the philosophy of Mira Boulevard about trying to get rid of natives came into hand. The Guadalupe Hidalgo Treaty talks about Mexican citizens and savages, and so those of us that never really were colonized to the point of getting settled down and surveying our land, we were considered savages, and we were still roaming like we were doing before. That's the mentality of Texas. So there are no natives in Texas, according to them, because the Kickapoos never really got state recognized. And a lot of these tribes that are going saying that they are state recognized now, I would have to question their credibility on it, basically because there's not an Indian Commission that regulates, the land or the criteria that gets them recognized. And I'm sorry to take Chris's spotlight, but when it comes to the history, I think people today don't understand that there's a history that brought us to that point, and where we are today. And that's why we're setting our federal recognition, trying to set up our own terms based on our linear descendancy, even though a lot of us are over 50% native, carrizos out of the Rio Grande Valley, which was our last stronghold. We still want to make sure that people recognize that there are politicians out there like John Cornyn and Ted Cruz that need to get out of office because they're racist, and they're racist because not because they're getting the brown vote, but because they don't want Native Americans to own their own lands in Texas, and that talks about us as the original people. I got the little guy behind me over there. We both got the lollipop. Or
That's why I said he's
There we
like a
go.
little wand.
but I think it's necessary that we understand that history, because I don't think to where we are right now, trying to get our recognition is something where we have come to a point where people are starting to recognize that we are. The other thing is that there are 31 definitions of what an American Indian is within the federal system, and maybe more now, because there are some of the agencies that will recognize the original people of the lands, like the National Park Service were the ones that contacted us to get involved with what's happening because of the LNG at Garcia pasture, which we already knew about, but we just didn't know how to approach it. But when the National Park Service asked us to be there, we were able to start, dealing with the issue at hand the way it is. And that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of legal things that are happening. So we're getting attacked now. My land here is getting attacked, and we're trying to maintain it. And the thing is, we need to have some kind of land base for ourselves so that we can continue being who we are, because there's only a few tribes that don't have a land base that are recognized, but we have the whole state of Texas, and it's hard not to do it. And just my efforts to try and maintain it has been difficult. And that's why what we're doing, we have never gone out in public, and I appreciate Nick and Harley and their efforts to help out so that we can have something we can have our lifeways at. And of course, it's not about being religious, and anybody wants to come sweat from the tribe, the sweat's there. They don't have to go look for some other place. We do what we can. So I'm gonna let you get Christa back. You got any other questions? I'll try not to get on anymore. I'm gonna finish my lollipop.
Enjoy, Juan. We will miss you.
Hi.
The real star of the show. The real star there.
Yeah. Move for her. Over there. Thank you, son. Now you're famous.
Yeah, right. So on this topic, and I appreciate you giving us a shout out, Juan. It's really nice. I just want everybody who listens to this, and I'll probably just cut this and make it TikTok. I just want everybody to know that Juan, Christa, Harley's dad, they never asked for anything from us. They didn't come to us asking for help. We met them and said, maybe we can help you. And they said, this is what's going on. And that's what we're trying to do. They didn't ask for nothing. And, I can't say enough good things about y'all. I feel really lucky to have made y'all as friends and family. And I really look forward to meeting y'all. I'm hoping that me and Harley can maybe take a day and come down there over our anniversary weekend on September 10th. So look for us as it gets closer. We're going to be in the area. But I have one final question, and then I will give it back to Katrina.
What is it? Are you going to ask about the powwow?
Yes, but I have another big political question. So before we get to that, can you give us dates and locations and times for all of your upcoming events right now? Go.
So right now, the big one is the August 14th from 11 to 8 p.m. So it's 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. We have in Forestville, Texas at the event center. It opens up at 9, he said. Oh yeah, because they're having the vendors and stuff. It opens up at 9 for vendors. All kinds of vendors are coming out to sell all kinds of things. Local vendors in the city. Of course, Native American stuff as well. But the powwow dancing starts at 11. It's from 11 to 8. Yeah, come join us in Floresville, Texas. It's the first time done that with the city of Floresville, so it's exciting, inside our town. So I'm excited. Let's see. And right now, that's basically where we're at for August. Really haven't decided when our next bear dance is. Trying to see how the variant is going right now, that Delta variant, and see what we're gonna do. We'll still do it. We just probably, if it gets really bad, we probably won't make that a public event. The bear dance, if the Delta variant gets bad, but he like, oh, you have to wear a mask. That's what he said. But well, usually I post those on the Facebook event page, the carrizo-comecrudo Facebook page and events. So if anybody wants to know any of our events that are happening, they can follow us on Facebook. I usually set the events in there, and then I'll share them to all our social media outlets on Instagram, and of course TikTok. So yeah.
Let me know when you share it on TikTok, and I'll share it back.
Definitely.
So my serious question is something that Harley's dad told me a little while ago, and I don't think I ever followed up on. Well, actually, I was going to ask you about SpaceX expanding on historical Esto'k Gna land, but the other question that you could answer, you can just pick. I don't know why you're laughing at SpaceX so much.
I think you just summoned Juan.
Uh-oh.
You just summoned the Juan.
But the other question I was going to ask, and you may respond to either or none of these, or both,
Okay.
is I know that there is an Esto'k Gna ant. Harley, can you throw that somewhere else so the dog will go away? Yeah, I know. So anyhow, what was I going to ask you? No, it was not SpaceX. It was the other thing. Right. So in San Antonio, Texas, in the Whitty Museum, as I understand it's pronounced, Witte. I understand there's an Esto'k Gna ancestor who is in a box on a shelf, and they will not allow those remains to be repatriated and buried appropriately. My understanding is that y'all retained some attorneys. Do you know, could you tell the people how long it's been since those attorneys who took you on pro bono, thus invoking their oath in the state of Texas to represent you zealously as they would any other? Can you tell us how long it's been since they have been in contact? Because this was really fascinating.
I don't have any. That's the Whitty Museum. I know for sure. They say that they don't have those on the premises of the museum. Doesn't mean they don't have them. So that I do know for sure. The attorney issue, I don't have any in. That's probably a question you have to ask my father.
So just,
but it's been a long process of, we've been protesting those. We've known they've had those for years now. They still will not give them up to get those repatriated. So that I do know.
my understanding was that it has been something on the order of 10 years since those attorneys have, so I think it's safe to say they've abandoned you.
Yes, those attorneys did abandon us, yes.
Yeah. I just, I need people to know this, because this is what y'all are up against. It's not just, it's not just big politicians and oil and gas. It's that people won't take your problems seriously enough to help you. Oh, you went muted, Krista. Oh, you're talking to Juan. Never mind.
No. He's saying because they moved them. I told him, I was telling him that I told y'all that they're not on their premises, but they still have them. They're just not there on the museum premises. They have them somewhere else. So that's what she was telling me, that I didn't say that, but I just specifying I did say that.
So I just, one of the things I would love to do is to reach out to Lawyer TikTok and see if we can find you some representation that actually cares.
You cut it out.
Anything that anyone that can look into it.
All right, we'll get it done. I think I might have run out of questions at the moment.
Yeah, like we went through ours fast. Of course, women, we got things to do, so we're like, all right, let's chop this out quick. Then Nick
You
wants to
see my
talk
kids walking by.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you. Well, I really appreciate your time, Krista, and feel free. This is
That was
Juan.
my oldest.
Your oldest, okay.
That's
Juan.
the oldest one. Yeah, that's the oldest one.
The oldest. Ah.
Yeah.
I was just saying is Juan wanting an appearance, but we really appreciate you taking your time to do this and to get the information out there, because we want people to know, and this to bring awareness. And we know you're a busy lady, and I appreciate you taking this do this with us.
No, I appreciate it. This was fun. We'll do it again sometime.
with the occasional drop-ins of Juan.
My dad.
I'm hoping that we can. I'm hoping that you guys are closing in on 1,000 followers on TikTok now. So after that, we can do live duets anytime we want, and it's much easier than this.
Yes, I was about to say, I call them Juan bombs. Have you been?
I love it.
Well, like I said earlier, we have to have one or the other. So you get me and him together. It's not just one of us.
One way or another.
Yeah, but I think that it's a family thing, and I think that people will connect to that. It's really cool to see y'all working together as parent and child, father and daughter.
Yeah, it's good. We like it.
Well,
except when I yell at him.
So, Krista, is there anything else that you can think of that you want to send people home with to remember about you and about your people, your Esto'k Gna?
I just Nena Pele for everything that you guys are reaching out, helping, supporting, boosting us and giving us a chance to be out there on a different platform. Like, we don't usually do TikTok, so TikTok's like a different platform for us, and it's amazing how it just changing the platform of how we speak on social media can change a lot for us. So thank you.
It's not just dancing on TikTok.
But I will say that y'all should dance.
Right.
As I was saying,
my dad said if the people from We Build the Wall could raise millions of dollars to build a fake wall, can you imagine what we can do actually trying to protect the sacred lands of our people?
Yeah, that is definitely so. But you should definitely share your traditional dances on TikTok. Native TikTok especially loves that. They love seeing their brothers and sisters continuing on in their ways. So, because I think it gives them hope too, seeing others survive like them.
Yeah, it's a long road, but we can continue to keep doing it and working together. And you know, like I said, I appreciate everything y'all are doing and helping us out, and you know, boosting us out there and giving thank you so much. And you know, just giving our ancestors the opportunity to continue.
Well, we're very honored to help you, and I've been happy to do this. This has been a joy to do, honestly. And thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's really been great. It's nice to see people showing up and showing out for y'all for a change. But get off there, call it a night.
Good night. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Hope
Bye,
you all
Thank
everybody.
you.
powwow.
Bye. Good
Thank you
night.
all.
Bye. I'm gonna try and make it to the powwow.
Yeah, come out, come out, come out.
All right, will do.
All right, I'm gonna close this down.